And we're live. Today we're going to be going to the Sacred Way. It's a 7-kilometer walk through an area of China where 13 of the 16 mausoleums for the emperors are. So I'm really excited to take you. If you're in the chat, just say hey. I just saw that somebody called Tish W subscribed to the channel, and you are the 1,000th person. So Tish, thanks so much, and thanks to everybody that subscribed. It's really motivating and exciting, and I'm really excited today to take you on a journey down the Sacred Way. Welcome Christopher, welcome Neil, welcome to all of those who have joined. So let's begin. I'm gonna just quickly jump. Wow, there you are, Tish. Tish, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone else. I'm gonna show you a photo quickly. So this is the entrance to the Sacred Way. Now you can see there it's called the Sacred Way of the Ming Tombs. So let me just tell you, I just want to give you a little bit of background before we begin. So of the 16 emperors who ruled China during the Ming Dynasty, that's from 1368 to 1644, 13 are buried here at the southern foot of the Tanzhou Mountains, and this is the most extensive burial complex of any Chinese dynasty. And this is what you see when you first arrived. Now, if you look there, there is there's an archway there. And that's the beginning of the Sacred Way. We're going to start walking through there shortly. It's one of the biggest stone archways in China. So, without further ado, let's lose the picture and let's start our walk down through the Sacred Way. So, where we're going to begin is just a little bit further than the entrance. We're going to walk through the area just after the entrance. So what you just saw in that picture was the main entrance, and I just walked through it, and then we're going to start here. So let's begin on our journey through the Sacred Way. So, the Sacred Way is a 7-kilometer or 4-mile memorial, and we're going to be beginning walking through, and I want you to pay attention, because when I first walked through here, there's a turtle, but look very closely at the turtle's head, because it's not the head of a turtle, it's actually the head of a dragon with a turtle's body. Now that stele, this weight that's on the turtle is about 50 tons, and there are 1,000 Chinese characters written onto the stone here. So we're going to look up, and there's 1,000 different Chinese characters going all the way up, and the weight of about 50 tons. So here we are entering through the dragon-headed turtle pavilion, where you can see the turtle with the dragon head, and that Chinese tablet that contains over 1,000 Chinese characters. Now, just like in the Forbidden City, oh, hi Diane, welcome. Just like in the Forbidden City, the Ming Tombs and the Sacred Way was also forbidden. So guards, during the Ming Dynasty, guards were posted around here, and not even the emperor could ride a horse on these grounds. And the site was chosen by the same emperor that constructed the Forbidden City, the Emperor Yongle. And you can just see that grandness that he brought to the Forbidden City here on the Sacred Way. Now, originally the Sacred Way was built to lead to the Changling Mausoleum. It was considered to be the road leading to heaven. Chinese emperors were known as the Sons of Heaven, and during their reign they often passed through the Sacred Way to the sacrificial altar. So like last week, we saw that the prayer hall and how the emperor would go there once a year. So this is something similar to as well. So during their reign, they would often pass through a sacred road to the sacrificial altar in order to converse with heaven. And after death, the funeral procession also took a path or a sacred road as a symbol of the emperor as he passed through his journey into the afterlife. So this is, as we walk through, just think of it as like that this is where, when the emperor passed away, where they would bring his body, they would lead it to the tomb. Now, alongside the Sacred Way, we're going to see about 18 pairs of marble figures lined up on the opposite side of the road. Now you can see this is back in winter, and this was taken in December, so it was snowing. So it's beautiful. If you come during the summer, you can have green trees. So it changes all the time. So yeah, alongside we're going to come to some beautiful marble figures, and we're going to see animals such as lions, horses, elephants, camels, and other mythical beasts as well. And also 6 pairs of human characters such as generals and public officials. Now, the tradition of setting up marble statues as guards of honor in front of the mausoleum began in the Han Dynasty, and it signified the royal dignity of the emperor while attempting to bring good fortune and ward off evil influences. Well, Judith says she walked part of this in 2016. Incredible. Yeah, so this is about a 7-kilometer walk. So let's talk about the Ming Tombs a little bit more. The Ming Tombs are a collection of mausoleums built by the emperors of the Ming Dynasty of China. The first emperor's tomb is located near the capital of Nanjing. However, there were 16 emperors, and 13 of those emperors, their mausoleums are located here at the Ming Tombs. The majority are located in this cluster near Beijing, and collectively they are known as the 13 tombs of the Ming Dynasty. So they're located here with about 42 kilometers or 26 miles away from the center of Beijing, or the Beijing city center. And the site is in between like a valley between the Tian Shan Mountains. And this site was chosen very specifically because of the principles of Feng Shui. And I'm gonna give you a little look. I'm just gonna pause the video quickly. I just want to give you a little look at where exactly we are. So here's a little look at where we're walking. So there's the mountains you can see on each side, and we're walking through the valley. And that first photo, the photo I showed you right in the beginning, that was the entrance. And then we're gonna walk that 7 kilometers. If you walk all the way, it would take you straight to the Changling tomb. Oh, Diane says she walked here in 1979 and has a picture of her with one of the lions. We're gonna see those lions now. So I just wanted to. I find it's always helpful to have like a bird's eye view. So now that we've got that, let's continue. So this is one of the lions. You'll see there's sitting lions and standing lions. So these are the standing lions. The sitting lions will come next. So just like the Forbidden City, these tombs were off limits to commoners, except until about 1644, when an army ransacked and burned many of the tombs before advancing to Beijing that year. So when that happened, things changed. But up until that time, like the Forbidden City, everything was off limits if you weren't a high official or an emperor. Now, presently, the Ming Tombs are designated as one of as a World Heritage Site, and along with other tombs around China, in Nanjing, in Hubei, and all over China. Now, when we get a little bit to the end, I'm going to tell you specifically, and I went to one of so there's 13 tombs here. I went to one of them. 3 of them are open to the public, and I'll show you some pictures from that tomb. But let's... So some of the animals that we're going to see are mythical creatures, and others are real. So this is a mythical beast. I think we're going to go down to other. Yeah, he's a mythical beast that resembles a goat with a single horn, and he was said to keep evil spirits away. Oh, I love the light. There's something about walking around in winter with it being sunlight and snow on the ground. There's just something magical about that. And you'll see and you can see it now. You have some of the animals are sitting down and in a crouched position, and then you have them again standing up. Diane, one of the popular picture that people like to take is there's a elephant, and people like to sit on the elephant that's sitting down. They love to like sit and take a photo. You'll see it a little bit further on. They like to come and take a photo by lying on the elephant leg, and then you get the elephant statue and you, because it's such a massive elephant. Yeah, so this location was very carefully chosen according to Feng Shui principles. So according to these principles, like Bad spirits and evil winds descending from the north must be deflected. Therefore, an arc-shaped valley area at the foot of arc-shaped valley was selected, like you saw in the picture I showed you earlier. And this 40 square meter or 15 square mile area enclosed by mountains is pristine and quiet valley full of dark earth, tranquil water, and other necessities per feng shui. And that's what made it such a perfect setting for the sacred way and the tombs. So here we're coming to the camels, and then just ahead we'll see the elephants. And that elephant sitting down is a very popular place for people to come and take photos. But let's talk about the tombs themselves, 13 tombs. So at present, only 3 tombs are open to the public. The largest one is the Changling tomb, and that's the most impressive. When I came here, I went to the Dingling tomb. Now, the reason I went to the Dingling tomb is it's the only tomb out of the 13 tombs that's been excavated. No other tomb has been excavated, and so it sort of gives you like a unique insight into the king's tombs, was you're actually able to go down and go in and have a look. And so that's why I went to the Dingling tomb. So yeah, each of the pairs are facing each other, and there's the elephant. Very popular place to sit and get a great photo. You can see by its head shape, it's a Asian elephant. Yeah, the Ming Tombs were listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003, and it is a little bit of a journey to come out. But what a lot of people do, and if you can do this, I wasn't able to do this, but if you're going to the Great Wall, often they'll combine a tour to the Great Wall and go to the Ming Tombs as well, because going to the Great Wall and going to the Ming Tombs are sort of in the same direction. So you can go do that sort of trip. Unfortunately, like when I went, I couldn't find a tour that went to both. So one day I went to the Great Wall, and then the next day I came here to the Sacred Way and to the Ming Tombs. Now, what I found quite interesting is that I thought the Sacred Way would be like quite close to the Ming Tombs, but they are quite far. After you exit the Sacred Way, it actually is quite far to get to any of the 13 tombs. But fortunately, everything's very well organized, and you just when you come to the end of the Sacred Way. Okay, this is another one of the mythical creatures. He's called a Kylin. A very auspicious symbol. So when you come to the end of the sacred way, there's buses that can take you to any of the three tombs, and the most popular being the Changling, and then the Ding. I think it's the Ding Long. Oh yes, one of the horses. You really do feel like when you're there, like a sense of awe when you walk through this area of the sacred way. It really does. To know that like kings were brought here and are buried here, it does feel really special. And it feels like a very peaceful area, but behind these trees, the sacred way is a very special space. But behind the trees on both sides, it's actually a road, but they're very cleverly they've hidden it behind the trees. So when you are there, it feels very peaceful and very tranquil, and it's very relaxing. So you sort of get like an insight into like their beliefs, like with the emperors being like the sons of heaven, and how this, like, they would bring the when the emperor passed, they would bring him along the sacred way, and then the whole idea is this would be like the procession would come through the sacred way and then go to the mausoleum, and this would be like when you're walking through the sacred way, it was like this was the emperor's way to get to the afterlife. So here we are now at the part section where we're going to see the no more animals. We're going to see some of the generals, and here they are. Some of the generals standing guard, and some military officers. So Neil's asking, so what there is, Neil, is so you walk along the sacred way, and then there's buses that connect you along. So everything, you don't, because the tombs are quite far, everything's quite it's a very extensive complex, so everything is quite far away. So once you finished a section, like once you finish the sacred way, then there'll be a bus right at the end, and then you can take it to the next section, because it is a very spread out complex. But this distance, it took me about, didn't take too long to walk. It was about 20-30 minutes. So a nice pleasant stroll. So yeah, they have different offices. You have like the military officers and the civilian officers and the priests and the ministers. And on each side, always identical pair. And we'll see, I'll tell you now about what we're going to see when we get a little bit closer. So here's one of the ministers. So you can see a little bit in the distance, there's a red door. So I'll tell you a little bit about that red door and when we get a little bit closer. So as you can see, like the sacred way is divided up into different sections. You enter through like this massive red gate, and then that turtle that's holding that column. And then you start off, you'll see the different animals, and then some mythical Chinese animals. And then here we get to the section where there's a lot of different Chinese ministers and officers, people that worked for the emperor. Everywhere they have bins, and everything is kept really spotless. I always made sure when I came here that I had a nice close look to see who we're looking at. So this is the Minister of Merit. So you can still, I don't know if you can see it, but they are behind those trees. There are cars driving through, but it's pretty well hidden. You feel when you're in the complex, you feel very at peace and just it's a very relaxing space. Now, people often skip the sacred way in the Ming Tombs because, you know, they've seen the Forbidden City, they've seen the Great Wall, but this is another UNESCO World Heritage Site that is really worth coming to. And Beijing, of course, is full. I think it's got 7 or 8 World Heritage Sites. I tried to get to as many as I could while I was there, and I didn't even get to all of them. So it's definitely a city that you want to spend a decent amount of time in. So here we're coming to the Dragon and Phoenix Gate, and this gate marks the end of the Sacred Way. And when you walk through it, on the right hand side there's a bus, and as far as I can recall, and then it will take you to any of the tombs that you want to get to. And what I'm going to do is I'll I'll be taking you. I took some. I didn't take video when I went to the tombs, but what I have done is I've taken some pictures. I'm gonna show you the Dingling tomb. That's the one tomb that was excavated. None of the other 13 tombs have ever been excavated. So we're gonna go there. So let's go there. Let me find. Oh, here's a nice picture. So here it is. This is the Dingling tomb. So you can see, just very impressive, really big. Now these tombs are laid out in like a very interesting way. So they're very imposing, very big when you enter. But the entrance to the tomb itself is actually at the back of the complex. So when you enter, it's very grand, very big. And of course, it was a beautiful winter's day. So I just want to show you what it looks like walking up. So that's walking up. You can see the sunlight is just incredible, and you walk right up to the complex. And yeah, this is what it looks like when you get to the top. And let's go inside. Oh, I just want to show you one more picture. Neil's asking, why didn't I go and take video inside? There wasn't as much to see inside the tomb itself. They didn't restrict video at all. There wasn't that much to see. So I want to show you, and I'm going to show you why there was. So this is where they found the bodies of the king and the people that were buried with him. And what they've done, and I'm going to show you in a moment, because unfortunately it's not unlike ancient Egypt, which had great dry conditions. It got very wet, so a lot of the boxes and the coffins and the casts, everything was made out of wood, and it got damp, and when they excavated, it was falling apart. So what they've done, and what you're going to see now, is a recreation of what it would have looked like where the king, the emperor, was buried. So he would be buried in one of those big red boxes, and then in the little red boxes there were things that the king would have needed. Christopher says, I'm surprised that there's hardly anyone. When I was in China back in 2019, everywhere was so crowded. So yeah, I did go during December. It was winter, and it wasn't a holiday. And certain places are very busy, and other places weren't. Like I went to the Summer Palace, which is very, very busy, because the lake next to the Summer Palace is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's where the emperor stayed during the summer. But during the winter, it's surrounded by a lake. And the whole lake, people were skating on the lake. It was really beautiful. So that's where the king was buried. And this is the only opportunity that you get in the Dingling tomb to actually go into the tomb. And it's just very impressive inside. Here's one of the walls. So it's made out of brick. When you enter the tomb, you have to go down, I think, 3 stories to get into the entrance. And so when I went, it wasn't very busy at all. And this was a weekend, which is quite surprising, because usually on a weekend you would think it would be more busy. I tried to go to most places during the week, but but I think I was just lucky. And also, when I went here, it was towards the end of the day. It was like the afternoon, so there weren't really that many people. I was just lucky. It's a very impressive looking door. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you today. It's the sacred way of the Ming Tombs, and we're lucky enough to have a little look inside one of the tombs. This is the Ding Ling tomb, the only tomb that's been excavated of the 13. And if I had a chance, I would have loved to have gone to the Changling tomb, which is one of the most impressive tombs, but it hasn't been excavated. So I just want to make a couple of notes. Oh, I've zoomed in a little bit too much here. How do I zoom out? Okay, there. So yeah, I went on the weekend. It was winter, it's very cold, so there weren't a lot of people, which was quite surprising. So I just want to tell you what we'll be doing next week. So next week we're going to be going to the we're going to be going to Shanghai, and in Shanghai there's this beautiful walkway. Sandy says, safe to assume that you are not going to disturb. Yeah, they're not going to excavate any more of the tombs. So the Ding Ling tomb is the only tomb that's been excavated, and they're not going to be doing or digging up any of the other tombs. So if you have time, I would recommend going to the Changling tomb and the Ding Ling tomb. I just had time to go to one tomb. I chose the Ding Ling because it was the only one that was excavated, and the other ones aren't going to be, unfortunately. Yeah, so next week we're going to be in Shanghai, and we're going to be walking along something called the Bund. The Bund is that beautiful walkway along the river. On the one side, you're going to see modern Shanghai with the Oriental TV tower, and then on the other side are 37 colonial buildings, because Shanghai was a center for trade, and inside some of those buildings they've got these they've got some beautiful artwork which I'll show too. And we'll also be taking a boat, so I'm really looking forward to taking you there. That's going to be next week. And yeah, so this is the Sacred Way. I hope you enjoyed walking along with me today to the Sacred Way. Same time, I think it's the same time next week, we'll be in Shanghai. And then the week after that, I haven't listed it, but I'm going to Cambodia, and we'll be live in Angkor Wat. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining today, and thank you for subscribing. It was so cool just before I went live now to see, wow, reached 1,000 subscribers. Really means a lot. And Tish says somebody did that tour in Hago. It was a stunning promenade. Oh, and yes, and I'll be doing. Neil's reminded me now. I'm chatting with Lilin. Is in Malaysia at the moment. She's like me, former Hago guide, but now she's live streaming and she's doing a trip around the world. And right now I think she started in Singapore. Now she's in Malaysia, and so next week we're going to be having a nice chat, and I'll be catching up with her. So that's going to be on her channel. You can check out the links. They're on my Facebook group, and you can find them there, and I'll be sharing them again. So thank you so much for joining, everyone, and I hope Judith says thank you for the memories, and Tish says thanks, Matt, for the wonderful tour, and Sandy says was just talking to my dad yesterday about Angkor Wat since he is in Thailand. Yeah, so that's where we're going to be going. That's going to be, for me, it's in Chinese New Year, so after our next tour. And that's going to be a live tour. we're going to be in Angkor Wat live. These are pre-recorded, these China tours I'm doing, but Angkor Wat will be live, so I'm looking forward to that. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week, same time, same place, and next week we'll be in Shanghai. And just a big shout out, thank you so much for joining and subscribing. It really means a lot to me and inspires me to do more. If you want to support the channel, you can go onto YouTube and just there's a buy me a coffee, or just subscribe and like. All of those things are appreciated. Thank you so much, and and I will see you all soon. And if you're not part of the Facebook group, please join. Links and everything is on YouTube. Bye for now.